Back here on CBS Sports HQ, the festivities out in New Orleans really just getting started. Yesterday, of course, we had press conferences and fans starting to arrive. We know the storylines, though, here, guys. The Chiefs, of course, chasing that three-peat. The Eagles trying to get revenge from losing to the Chiefs a couple of years ago when this whole three-peat thing started. And New Orleans is the backdrop for it all to get underway this Sunday. A lot to talk about when it comes to that game, so we got to bring in two of our best, Tyler Sullivan and Emory Hunt, joining us to discuss the biggest storylines heading into the big game. And guys, we've got to start with the defending champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, of course, chasing that three-peat. So Tyler, it's no surprise that one big thing that you're watching here is the Chiefs. Tell us a little bit more about what you're looking forward to come kickoff.
Yeah, I mean, of course it's the Chiefs. It's something we're talking about that's never been done in NFL history before, and that's winning 3 consecutive Super Bowls. It's something that, again, we're knocking on the door of history. Of course, every Super Bowl is historic, but when you talk about what the Chiefs could accomplish here, it really is kind of mind-boggling. Because if you think about it, they're the only team that's been in a position to three-peat, that's even made it to the Super Bowl at this point. So the fact that we're even here is already history for the Kansas City Chiefs. But if they're able to win this thing, we're talking about one of the all-time dynasties in NFL history, winning 3 straight, winning 4 in as many in whatever it is, 5-6 years. Patrick Mahomes now winning 4 Super Bowls, really nipping on the heels of the title of greatest of all time, going up against Tom Brady. I mean, the things that could change here from a week's time in terms of the history of the National Football League is absolutely ridiculous, and I don't think it's getting as much attention as it should, and it's getting all of the attention so far.
Yeah,
and I'm going to take the other side. I'm sorry.
No, Emory, you go ahead. I was just going to bring you in on the conversation. Just how are you feeling about the Chiefs and that three-peat?
Yeah, listen, that's a great start because I'm going to take the other side in terms of the Eagles and Jalen Hurts shaking the stigma of being a quote-unquote game manager. I love history because if we were not focused on what happened in the past, we were doomed to repeat it in the future. We remember what the conversation was like when Tom Brady took over New England after the injured Drew Bledsoe, got to the Super Bowl. They won that game against the Rams, and all you heard was, man, that was the defense. That was Adam Vinatieri. Brady's just a game manager. He ain't really doing much. You hear the same talk about Jalen Hurts and how he's going about his business. Then Tom Brady didn't make the playoffs the following year, so that kind of further threw more gasoline on the fire to say that, hey, man, this dude was the reason why they won that Super Bowl. And then he got back in 2003, and it was a reason why they won that ball game against the Panthers because Tom Brady went off in the Super Bowl. So this is Jalen Hurts' second time around, and I do feel like we'll see him be the reason why. He probably was the reason why they both won and lost the first one because the fumble kind of turned the tide of the game, but he was playing exceptionally well, actually outplayed Patrick Mahomes statistically, and I do feel like it's the reason why they're here again because of Jalen Hurts. His efficient play, and people want to look at the numbers fantasy-wise. You can't look at that. Look at how they're playing these games. Look at how they're winning these games. The efficiency at the quarterback position matters, and I think that's what Jalen Hurts is getting underrated by. That's why I feel like he has to shake that stigma because it's unnecessary, but we've seen this before.
We have seen it before, and I just love that this term game manager has become such a hot topic thing. If you call someone a game manager, it really forces you to make a decision on either side there, but only one of them can win. I personally hope it's Patrick Mahomes, but that's okay. We don't have time to get into that. We've got other NFL business to attend to, guys, because, a trade request from the former first-round pick Myles Garrett, I think it shocked a lot of people, both fans and the organization. Tyler, you've got a great story up on CBSSports.com about this. If the organization does decide to part ways, which they've said that they're not interested in doing, but if they do, where can you see Garrett landing?
Well, I mean, you talk about game manager, we're talking about a game wrecker in Myles Garrett, someone that is completely can flip the culture, the entire side of the defensive ball for wherever he ends up. I think one of the teams, and again, you can make a case for 31 teams in the NFL. Heck, the Cleveland Browns, who currently have Myles Garrett, don't want to get rid of him. So 32 teams want Myles Garrett's services. But the team that I think is the most fascinating is the Washington Commanders, because they're the perfect blend of basically what Myles Garrett is asked asking for right now. You saw in that statement, he wants to go not from Cleveland to Canton. He wants to go into the winner's circle and win a Super Bowl. And what we've seen from the Washington Commanders this season is that they're there. They're in that conversation of getting to a Super Bowl, getting to an NFC championship. They've struck gold with Jaden Daniels. And when you have struck gold with a rookie quarterback like Jaden Daniels, where you know you are going to be in postseason contention for the foreseeable future, you do whatever you can to surround that young quarterback with talent, especially when he's on his rookie contract. You take advantage of that, basically that cheat code of having a rookie quarterback on his rookie deal by bringing in players like Myles Garrett. The Commanders ranked like 14th in the NFL in pressure rate last season. You bring Myles Garrett in, you're knocking on the door of a top 5 defense in pressure rate that only will help the Jaden Daniels-led offense to continue to ascend in year 2.
I know that Bobby Wagner is a free agent, but I'm envisioning both of them on the same roster. If Washington can figure it out, it sounds crazy. So I'm not even going to let that come to fruition. Emory, instead, I'm going to come to you and ask, where do you think Myles Garrett ends up?
Well, I like where Tyler's head is at because he picked an NFC team because obviously Ravens, Bengals should be right there in line for him, but we know they're not going to let him go to an AFC squad. So I'm going NFC as well. How about the Detroit Lions? You pair him up with a healthy Aiden Hutchinson coming back from injury, and man, you got 2 bookends that can really set up shop in a meeting in the backfield at the quarterback position. But I would also toss out the Atlanta Falcons as well. I like the way their defense played the back end of the season when they got competent quarterback play from another rookie quarterback on a rookie deal like Tyler talked about. So I pick up what he's putting down there. Atlanta would be another place for him to make a impact right away, be a final piece on the defense and a team that's ascending in the right direction.
Let's talk about another player that's on the move there, and another surprise, really. Rams wide receiver Cooper Kupp. I know earlier in the offseason he kind of talked about what his future would look like. He said he wanted to stay in L.A., guys, but it sounds like things just aren't going to work out there. I personally, Emory, and you know where I'm going with this, I know a team that could really use a wide receiver to complement our current wide receiver, but you're the expert here, so give us some good potential landing spots for the former Triple Crown winner.
I know we're in the era of the NCAA transfer portal. I'm sorry, North Texas is not eligible for him to get his service. I know you're talking about the Dallas Cowboys, but I'll do you one better. I'll say 2 teams for 2 different reasons. The New York Giants, because if you're adding a young quarterback potentially, why not have a veteran that could be a safety valve to go along with your explosive playmaker in Malik Neighbors? I think that'd be a great fit for a young quarterback to have 2 outstanding receiving options. But another team would be the Baltimore Ravens, because you have Zay Flowers, you have Rashad Bateman, who stepped up big time this year. They need a third piece that can help control the middle of the field that is not a tight end, because they have 2 excellent options at tight end as well. Cooper Kupp could be the final piece of a receiving core that could be potentially dangerous for the Baltimore Ravens.
You know, the team that I'm looking at is the Cincinnati Bengals, because there's going to be a lot of dominoes that fall in Cincinnati over the next couple of weeks and next couple of months. We all assume that T. Higgins is probably going to leave. There's probably a chance that, yeah, of course, maybe they come to some sort of, miraculous agreement, but all indications point to the fact that they're going to lose him in free agency, which creates a significant hole in that pass-catching unit. Of course, they have Jamar Chase, another Triple Crown winning wide receiver, but they still need that another piece to complement Jamar Chase to go with Joe Burrow to continue to put the Cincinnati Bengals in a Super Bowl window. And to me, I think Cooper Kupp's a perfect guy to throw into this offense. Sure, the money's got to get all figured out, and that's a whole other kind of variable to this conversation, but just from a sheer would be really fun to watch him in X offense, it's the Cincinnati Bengals with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. You throw Cooper Kupp in there, that is quite the replacement for T. Higgins.
Yeah. Listening to you both explain it, like, it does sound fun for either of those situations. It's just not what I want, so that's fine. I guess I'll have to come up with a way to get Cooper Kupp to Dallas on my own. Guys, thank you so much for hopping on HQ with us today, getting us up to date with all the latest news across the NFL. Of course, there's so many storylines to follow as we count down to Super Bowl 59 from New Orleans. This is just some of our awesome crew we have out there bringing us coverage. It started today or tomorrow, February 5th, going all the way up to the big game.